Good morning, everyone. I hope we are all well. I have had a lot of questions about transplanting and repotting your carnivorous plants. So I thought today I would do a quick video just to show you guys how easy it actually is. I'm going to apologize up front for all the crowing and the barking you may hear, but as you can see, it is just a gorgeous day in the KZN Midlands. So they're also taking advantage of the first sunny day we've had in a long time. So without further ado, let's do this. All right, so this is my workstation. So in the likes of Suzelle from DIY, you will need a mixing bowl, your proper carnivorous plant mix, a shovel or spade, and a mini tool set. These I absolutely swear by. They are my most used tools out of all the things that I have. A pair of sharp snippers, pots that are obviously slightly larger than the pot you're going to replant. Today I'm going to be replanting this little baby pink thing, Sarracenia, as well as this Nepenthes Gaia, which is going off to her mom Catherine on Monday. You will need some bottles of pure water with spray nozzles on the top. I like using this one to wet the media, and then a smaller one here which I like to use to spray on the plants and clean off the plants. Both of those types of nozzles as well as the soil can be purchased on the website, along with these, I say it again, most useful tools ever. And then I also like to spray the plants with some Novion biostimulant afterwards. Novion is also on the website. It is an amazing stimulant for the plant. It helps reduce stress and it helps boost its growth, help fight bugs. So yeah, it really is number one thing. So without further ado, let's get going. So you are going to wet your potting media. It is very important that the potting media is very wet before planting, because peat moss and sphagnum moss is initially water retardant. So if you don't wet it before you do your planting, the water may not actually absorb in time. There you go, that is nice and wet. So this video I'm purely going to focus on transplanting a plant from a smaller pot directly into a bigger pot. I will get into splitting plants at a later video. So what you're going to do obviously is the plant pot needs to be a couple of sizes, 1 or 2 sizes bigger than your plant. Fill it with your potting media, probably to about halfway, or however size, whatever size the pot is. Right, then you are going to very forcefully take the plant, put your fingers over the plant like that to secure it, tip it upside down and give it a good proper shake so that the entire plant comes out. You only really need to transplant your carnivorous plants when the roots, you can see where the roots start growing out of the bottom of the pot, or the plant has actually overgrown the entire pot, as you will see here with my cephalotus. So this is due for a repot as well. But apart from that, you don't really need to do much for these. So you take your pot, break off just the bottom of the soil there to loosen the roots a bit, not too much. Put that inside of your larger pot, and then using your smaller spade, just fill in around the sides of the plant like so. You're going to have to forgive if the video is poor quality. I'm doing this by myself and it's the first time I'm doing a vlog or whatever it's called, so please bear with me. Right, once the pot is nicely filled, see how useful this little tool is. Once the pot is nicely filled, then I use the smaller spray nozzle just to wet the soil again around the pot to make sure it settles in nice and steady, or nice and firm. All right, once the water starts dripping out the bottom, you know that the plant is nicely wet. And then I'll take my Novion and I liberally spray the plant like that, and little few spritz in between or inside of the pitches. And that is it. Repotting 101. Okay, so now that that little baby has been done, we can set her aside into trail water, and we will now transplant Princess Gaia. So just remove this and get the Nepenthes blend. So obviously it's very important that when you are transplanting your plants, you make sure you use the right soil blend. So the Nepenthes prefer a much looser area soil than your other carnivorous plants. So other carnivorous plants mix is 1 part peat moss to 1 part perlite. Nepenthes mix, I do my own little blend, which I find works very well, because as you can see, it's nice and airy and light. The roots don't like to be waterlogged, they like to be kept damp, and obviously have lots of air around them. So there again, you are going to take your pot, make sure the media is nice and wet. Okay guys, this is very important. I can't stress this enough. Your media must be wet. Otherwise, there is a possibility that the plant will take a bit more stress, because it takes a very, very, very long time for sphagnum and peat to absorb water. So once that is nicely damp, you are going to fill up your pot to, again, about the halfway mark, or depending on what the depth of your actual plant is. Now with the Nepenthes, so obviously the pitchers will have some water in them. There is a chance that that will spill out. In fact, it's a very likely chance it's going to spill out. So when you do turn the pot over, make sure you do it quite a distance away from you, because sometimes the half rotting bugs inside these pictures is not a very pleasant smell to have spilled all over you. So again, like we did with the Sarracenia, you are going to put your fingers around the base of the plant to secure it, turn it upside down, and give it a very sturdy shake. Right, you obviously saw all that mucky stuff that came out of the picture there. Once you are done, again, just loosen the bottom like that. You can see how nice and healthy that root system is. Right, so I fill this pot up a little bit too much, so let's take some soil out. Let's put her inside her new home, and then again we are going to fill in the sides of the pot with the Nepenthes mixture. When you are filling the pot, it's important not to want to compress the soil too much. I know when you're potting plants and that kind of stuff, you want to press the soil down really hard. You cannot do that with Nepenthes or with other carnivorous plants, because as I mentioned earlier, they do like to have a light, airy potting soil so that the roots do not become pretty much smothered. Once that's done, we're going to gently compress the surface of the potting just to make it sturdy and neat. Again, resist the urge to press too hard. Once that is done, again, wet immediately. What I like about this little nozzle here is it's got a very tiny spray, so you can direct the water around the crown of the plant and onto the actual soil media without wasting too much water or without upsetting the plant soil. Then again, once I'm done there, a very healthy spray of Novion. And here, because we've lost the liquid inside the pitcher, I like to just give it about a half a teaspoon of Novion inside there, which will obviously help the plant again recover from stress and continue absorbing that little. There's 2 flies actually inside there. Catherine, your baby is very hungry. And there we have it, guys. Transplanting 101. Not as difficult as one thought, and doing it this way, there's very little disturbance to the root ball, so you can actually transplant your plant at any time of the year. They mostly suggest that you do transplant plants during winter, but that pertains more to the splitting of the plants, because then obviously you're disturbing the root ball. Again, I apologized about the roosters. You're splitting the root ball, so the plant will obviously go a lot more stress, but this way you can transplant it any time of the year with minimal stress to the plant and of course to you guys as well. So I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, please by all means feel free to give me a shout. Happy growing!